Mabuhay! Good day to all! I am your tutor Madge. Welcome to ETUlay, a free online tutorial, an initiative of the Department of Education, Information and Communications Technology Service, Educational Technology Unit, ICTS EdTech. This program is aimed at helping and assisting learners from kindergarten, senior high school, ALS, Alive, and SPED learners. Aside from answering the modules, the ETUlay is offering programs which you will surely look forward to. Together with our parents and teachers, the ETUlay will bridge the gaps where difficulty and ease meet in learning new knowledge and skills. So, let us prepare our modules, pen and paper. Ready your mind to see and hear worthwhile and interesting lessons. Let us now study and learn, together with our volunteer online tutors. Tara na!
Good afternoon, Tutor Arnel. Good afternoon to all
Hi.
our learners. Hello po. So it's nice to be back to our ETUlay session for this afternoon. So I would like to personally greet our early birds for this afternoon. So let me greet a very special afternoon to Marge Ashi K. De La Maza from LFG Diamantina National High School, and also to Micah Angela Data from Mangahan High School, and Chimari Buensuceso Sagun from San Mariano National High School with the teacher, Ma'am Reggie Guerrero. We also have Samantha Blasi from SDO Caloocan and Sudairi Sadik from 10 Adonis. Good afternoon, Tutor Arnel.
Hi, Tutor Dre's. Good afternoon. And to all of our ETUlayers. Yeah, we missed you so much.
Yes, thank you. I miss you all also. So it's been a very busy week, right? So, but of course, we are here again for English 7 because it's Tuesday and it's Choose English Day, and we are your guides from 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. teaching you the lessons, the modules that we have borrowed from the different regions, and that would be for English 7, of course. And we have a special session for this afternoon. Tutor Arnel, can you please brief us with what's going to happen this afternoon?
All right. So, of course, just like what we have been promoting online, so we are going to be here with you every Tuesday from 1:40 to 2:20. And, of course, let's not forget that we should have to, maging part tayo ng ating ETUlay sessions through Facebook. You can just actually access that through the sites that we have on page. And yung ating mga recorded sessions, we also have available in YouTube. And I guess we also have, ETUlayers from watching from YouTube, I guess, no, Tutor Dre's?
Yes. Apart from that, it's not just we're not just catering to the learners. We are also, of course, very much welcoming the teachers and
Mm-hmm.
the parents. So actually, we have one here from Sir Rolf Cedric San Juan of Mangahan High School, a very avid viewer, okay, and
Mm.
teacher from Mangahan High School who has always been supporting us since day one. Thank you very much, sir. So now we have here our English 7 quarter 4 topics. And for this week, we are already on week 4, and that would be determining the truthfulness and accuracy of materials viewed. Because last week, Tutor May actually discussed with them
Mm-hmm.
about listening. So this time, we're going to have viewing. Okay, so it's a different macro skill of English. And so that would be our topic for this afternoon. And then, yeah. So let us thank our module reference, Tutor Nell.
Yes, all right. So we would like to thank all of our writers who were able to create our module 4 from DepEd Stock Surgeon region.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we proceed with the quarter four, week four objective. So at the end of the session, you will be able to do the following things. First is our objective of the mind. That would be to determine the truthfulness and accuracy of the material viewed. And then we have the objective of the heart, which is to realize the importance of truthfulness and accuracy of the material viewed. And then, of course, we have our skills. That is to spot the information disorder present in the material viewed. So after our tutorial session, we'll try to find out if we were able to meet all these three objectives. So let's proceed
Yes.
with our next part. And this would be to award our exemplary duties. We will start with quarter four, week two. Okay, Tutor Anel, who are these very lucky people?
Yes. All right. So we are going to announce now our exemplary duties for week two session. So the first, of course, is okay, yung adding homework. Our homework was about making comic strip, and these students were able to submit their work. Okay, so we have Samantha D. Blasi of Liano High School SDO Caloocan. So congratulations, Samantha, for submitting us your wonderful comic strip. And also si Janiel Von Morales from Mangahan High School, grade 10 Aeolus, and of course, Mark D. Platon, our student alumnus, Sagad High School from SDO Pasig as well. And
Okay.
now, Tutor Drace, no, meron naman tayong awardee from our week 3
Yes.
session.
Yes, for quarter four, week three, our assignment was actually for them to listen to the news reports of any of their preferred radio or TV stations, and then they're going to list down five very
Mhm.
important information that they have heard from that news report. So now, who is our lucky exemplary duty for this particular assignment? We have none other than. Okay, so we have Janiel Von Morales, grade 10 Aeolus from Mangahan High School, SDO Pasig. Congratulations, good Janiel, for being our exemplary duty for week three.
Yes, congratulations, Janiel.
And so now we move on with our first activity for this afternoon, and this is to activate their prior knowledge. This is just a very simple activity of just telling us whether it's fact or bluff. So definitely if it's a fact, then that means it's correct, and bluff if it is not. So all you need to do is just type in your answer. Don't forget to type in the number first of the item that you are answering. Let us start, Tutor Nell.
Okay, so let's begin with the first item. So the first item is listening is the act of perceiving sound and receiving sound waves or vibrations through your ear. All right, so is this a fact or bluff? Okay.
Okay, so let's have that. Okay, who will be answering our first activity? What do you think is the answer? Is it a fact or a bluff? So we now have an answer here from Miss Angela Bess. That is a bluff. And then we also have Lorraine Sosa, fact. And then we have
Mhm.
Ella Marie de Magila, bluff. What is our correct answer for this one, Tutor Arnel?
All right, let's find out what's the correct answer. The correct answer, it's a bluff. Okay, it's a bluff.
Okay, so that's a bluff. Okay, so listening is not just about perceiving and receiving sound waves. Okay, so
Right.
next, let's have number two. For number two, listening requires concentration to take in the information that you hear. Is this a fact or a bluff? Again, don't forget, you write the number first before typing in your answer. So let us wait for their answers. Now, while waiting, let us greet some of them. We have Mark Nathaniel Nonato, and then we have Jansen Robert Rosaline, Janet Flood Patayon, and we now have answers here from Janiel. It's a fact. From Miggy, it's a fact, and from John Ezekiel, it's a fact. What is the
Mhm.
correct answer for number two?
Okay, the correct answer is fact. Good
Very
job.
good. Let's now proceed with number three, Tutor Nell.
Well, listening enables you to process, evaluate, make sense of, and respond to information, whether it would be helpful for you or not. So, is this a fact or bluff?
Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for number three? So, is it a fact or a bluff? Let's have the answer. We have, okay, so we're still waiting here. Angela, it's a fact. Danette, it's a fact. Janet is a fact also. What is the correct answer for number three?
Okay, I think they got the correct answer. It's a fact. Good
Very
job.
good. Let's now have our next item. For number four, knowing the main or central idea helps you clarify your understanding of the information being listened to. Is it a fact or a bluff? Let's have number four, fact or bluff. Okay, let's have the answer from Sudari. It's a fact. And then we have another answer from the net, fact also. So the correct answer for number four is fact. Very good. You got it
That's
correctly. So let's now
right.
move on to our last item for our first activity.
Okay, so well, listening well is necessary to determine the worth and value of ideas presented in the text listened to. So, what do you think is the answer here, kids? Is it fact or bluff?
We now have an answer here from Renz. It's a fact. Mark Platon, fact also. What
Okay,
is the correct answer for that?
the correct answer is it's a fact. Good job.
Very good. That's a fact. So, if your score, if you got a five, please give us five heart reacts, and
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be one heart react for every correct answer. So, while we're waiting for their scores, let us first greet Hannah Chelsea Valencia, Eds Barreto, Angela, Cara, Ashley, C. Arellano. Happy watching and happy learning.
Mm-hmm.
We now have five stars here from John Michael Janko, Sodairi Sadik, Trisha Cartagena, Paula Stephanie Ansog, and Jeric Garobo, and a lot more. Congratulations on your five heart reacts, and good job. Okay, to everyone who had perfect scores. Let's now
Mm-hmm.
proceed to our next activity. Tutor Arnell.
All right. So, well, congratulations, students who got a perfect score. Now, let's begin. Viewing materials and listening to them may entail differences in the way we get and understand information. So, still, critical and analytical thinking skills are required to understand information being viewed or listened to. So, it means to say, students, that whether we are viewing materials or whether we are listening to them, it would still require you critical and analytical thinking skills for you to understand them. So, hindi lang natin siya basta babasahin or panunuorin for us to get an information. We have to understand the content of it, right? Okay. I guess we have a story, no, Tutor Drace?
Yes, I have a story of Kirby here, and this will be guiding us through our lesson for this afternoon. So let's take a look now at the story of Kirby. Okay,
Okay.
Tutor Nell.
All right, so let's begin with our story. So, as we read it, I hope that everyone will be listening. So, Kirby, the boy you see on the picture, is a grade 7 student who likes to surf and browse the internet. So, he often posts any material or information he comes across on his favorite social media platforms without actually examining whether he shares pieces of information that are accurate or that are true and accurate. Then what happens next again, Tutor Drace?
Okay, so one day Kirby saw something about the
Mm,
monkeypox. So he did not verify the source and nor read the entire information. Overwhelmed with the news, Kirby shared it with his classmates Mark and John. Now, what will be happening next? Let's try to find that out on our next slide.
mhm.
Tutor Arnell.
All right, now together they share the unverified news among their chat groups. Yeah, usong-uso yan. Now, many close
Yes.
friends, classmates, and relatives got terrified of the monkeypox. And then what
Okay.
happened? Nga nga?
Okay, after that, when Miss Santos, Kirby, Mark, and John's teacher saw the shared post in the class group chat, she read through the content about monkeypox and realized it is fake news, or what
Mm.
we call a misinformation. So she put the three in a closed virtual meeting and reminded them to be careful of things they post and share. So this is a very common scenario.
Right. Okay. So let's see what happened. I guess that's the last part. We have
Yes.
questions.
Okay, so we now have some questions here, and please type in your answers on our comment section. So the first question is, what can you say about Kirby's habit when browsing the internet? Okay, it was described in the story, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what can you say about it? So of course our teenagers now, actually not just the teenagers, they're very fond, or we are very fond of using the internet now, and we also have this attitude like Kirby, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
usually having some problems because of that. So according to Aliana Shane Ocampo, Kirby browse any platforms in social have found if you would like to share. Of course, it may be about browsing the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do we now have some answers here? Okay, so please type in your answers. And according to Sodari, I think he needs to be more careful when sharing information in any social media platforms to avoid misinformation. Now, according to Janet Flood Patayon, Kirby believes everything he reads on the internet without verifying shared information. That is very
Right.
true. Okay, so Kirby got that habit. Now, what is the second question, Tutor Anel?
Now, the second question is what happened when Kirby shared the false information with his friends?
Okay, now what
Yeah.
happened to Kirby and the friends? Because of course we like sharing. Sabi nga, sharing is caring, right? So we always do that. Whatever we read in the internet, without verifying if it's true or not, we share it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
And usually we always share no classes post.
Exactly.
Yes. So, do we now have some answers here? Okay, they're still answering question number one. So, according to Samantha, Kirby often shares information without fact checking. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. So, according to Janet Fladpatayan, for number two, Kirby's friends became terrified with what false information they got, and according to Lorraine, it makes his classmates and friends frantic about it.
Mm.
So Zamaria Emery, it causes misinformation and scared everyone. And
Mm-hmm.
John Michael Janko, with the false information on loose, unnecessary panic started within the
Mm-hmm.
class. That's correct.
Right.
Okay. And let's now have number three. So for number three, why is it important to determine the truthfulness and accuracy of viewed materials or information? Why is it necessary that we need to check if what we are saying is true or not? Actually, it's not just about viewed materials, Tutor Arnil, diba? We now
Yeah.
have, in our society now, we have this, what we call the marites.
Yeah.
So, alam mo yan. So, we always have that, 'di ba? So, we are fond of sometimes we are always fond of listening to the marites of
Mm-hmm.
our lives, and what
Mm-hmm.
we don't do fact checking, and we just listen to
We just
whatever they are
believe.
saying. Yes. And what's worse, we share it with others without even
Exactly.
checking if it's true. So we now have an answer here from Aliana. We have to be like social media, share the true news, don't share fake news. And
Mm-hmm.
according to Janet, it's necessary to verify information before sharing it with others as if it's fact, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Very good. So next, what will be happening next, Tutor Arnell?
Okay, so let's see what we have here. Okay, so there's somehow lesson here, Tutor Drace, I guess.
Yes.
So it says here that sharing may be easy and rewarding, no? Parang you feel proud that you shared something. But of
Yes.
course, the consequences of sharing unverified information may affect people in another way or another. So at times we cannot take it back right after we shared it. Kahit i-delete pa natin siya, the effect of it
Yes.
stays there for quite some time. No?
So the
So we
damage has been done, so we cannot erase
exactly.
that anymore. Okay, that's very true, and this is very, very timely. Okay, so now let's proceed with discussing the lesson. First thing is we have to know what is viewing, because, like what I have mentioned, last week we discussed listening, and for this week we're going to have viewing. Now, when we speak of viewing, it is an active process of attending and comprehending visual media such as television, images, films, diagrams, charts, tables, infographics, symbols, pictures, digital art, videos, drawings, sculptures, and paintings. Now, this is according to the Canadian Common Curriculum Framework as cited by Doe. Okay. And next, we will now see what is the difference, or what is, the difference between truth and accuracy. Tutor Nell?
Now, the difference between the truth and accuracy, although they're two different terms, they should be together when we are verifying the information. No? So,
Yes.
truthfulness is actually the quality of being honest of a material and the information. At the same time, accuracy is if the fact is being exact or correct. So, dapat combined siya. It should be truthful
Yes.
and it should be accurate. Ayan.
Actually, we have some of our viewers are already grade 10 students, and this is what we have discussed in research. Okay?
Oh,
Research must always be based on facts. We don't just say something that we just heard, or what we call hearsay. So we always have to check on the validity and reliability of our sources. Don't forget that.
that's
Okay,
right.
now how would you know if the pieces of information you get from various resources are true and accurate? So now we are here for fact checking. How would you do that? Now, these are the tips on how you're going to do that. Tutor Anel?
All right. So the first one is, of course, you have to understand the viewed information. So it can be understood in many ways depending on who is viewing it. So it's very important that you yourself, as a viewer or as a reader, has an understanding about the topic or the issue. So we don't just react about it. No. So the
Yes.
next one is, all right. So Tutor Dre's.
Okay, so to carefully evaluate the truthfulness and accuracy of the material, you must be able to question the materials you
Mm-hmm.
find in various media platforms. Do not just believe everything you read. You have to test the accuracy, you have to test the truthfulness of whatever you are seeing or whatever you are viewing. Remember, we have already taught you about how to do fact checking. Check the sources, don't forget that, so you
Mm-hmm.
won't be victimized by fake news.
That's
Okay?
correct.
Don't forget that.
Okay, so well, aside from what Tutor Dre said, in addition to that, when viewing, you have to create questions that will help you seek clarity, and you have to have question assumptions and detect information disorder, so we'll know later what are these information disorders. So dapat marami tayong tanong so that we will know whether the information presented are actually bad or are actually true or not.
Correct. And to be able, for you to be able to know more about this lesson, you need to know the types of information disorder. Okay, so we will be giving you types of information disorder, so you can already have an overview of what are the
Mm-hmm.
things that you must not believe. Okay, so let's have the first type. Okay. Now, first one is satire and parody. So these types of viewable content have no intention to cause harm. They both present harsh truths in a humorous way. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some examples here, Tutor Anel.
All right. So if you can see in the following examples, no, so they may find you may find it funny. Probably it's because it's comical, para siyang mga comics, no. But rather,
Mhm.
if you're going to look into it, there is some issues underlying in it. But of course, we do not treat it as something that is truthful agad, because that's why they're called satire and parody nga eh. So
Yes.
they're presented in a humorous way. Parang nagpapatawa lang sila. But of course, it has some sort of truth behind it din.
Yes, correct. So the second one is about misleading content. So this is a common example of splicing a statement or a
Mhm.
video and then creating a caption or content that supports a false information. So we are we are also used in seeing this in social media, right?
Right.
Okay, so our example, Tutor Arnel.
All right, so if you're going to look at this example, this was taken from from a post in Singapore, and I guess this is also common, this has been common in the Philippines in the past days, that they are quoting a particular person to sound bad, but actually they
Yes.
just got a piece of their quote and then posted as if they really said it. So it's just like this, no?
Correct. So this is about misleading content. So that's the
That's
second
true.
type. And then we now proceed with the third type, and that would be the imposter content. Now, this is when genuine sources are impersonated.
Hmm.
An example of this is when the logo of a well known brand or name is used alongside false content. Now, the goal is for people to consume the content based on their trust. Now, Tutor
Yeah.
Ernel, can you please cite the example here?
All right, so here is an example of a fake public advisory, and you might actually believe it right away when you see it, because there's the logo of the Department of
Department
Health.
of Health.
Yeah. So
Yes.
according to the explanation, this has been the memo of DOH that this is fake because it has been released recently lang eh. Pero the
Mm-mm.
information says about GCQ, eh wala na tayong ganun, right? We already have like alert
Yes.
level 1, 2, and 3. No?
Actually, it caused a commotion in the society, right? Because they
Mm,
thought talaga that after some time we are going to have GCQ again, and there's going to be a lockdown again. So it caused a commotion. And
right.
next, the next type is about fabricated content. So the new content is entirely false. These texts are designed to deceive
Mhm.
and harm. New fake social media accounts are created to spread new and invented content from it. Okay? Only
Yes.
invented. That's why it's called fabricated. So, and now we have the fake news here.
Yes. Okay. So I saw this in the social media. And a lot of parents and students reacted to it that DepEd announces grade 13. So it's funny, but a lot of people believe this one.
Yes. Okay, so
So it's
that's
totally
that's the
invented.
common that's the common reaction they would have every time they would see news without checking the validity. They would entirely read, but they would really believe it
Hmm.
at once. Okay,
Yeah.
and then we now have the next one. That would be number five, false connection. Now, this is when headlines, visuals, or captions don't support the content. So, this technique makes claims about content via a sensational headline, only to find the headline is horribly disconnected from the piece of content. So, an
Yes.
example, Tutor Nell?
All right, so maybe you might have heard about the clickbait. So when you actually see
Yes.
the following phrases, like you will never believe, blank things you need to know, this weird trick, this is what happens if you, and the blank best. So actually, catches your attention for you to click it. But when you click the link itself, it's not connected to the title itself. So that's an example
Mm-hmm.
of this kind of misleading
Yes. A
information.
clickbait.
Right.
Okay, and next, number six, we have false content. Now, this is when genuine content is shared with false contextual information. It often happens during a breaking news event when old imagery is reshared, or when
Mm,
old news articles are reshared as new when the headline still potentially fits with contemporary
yeah.
events.
Okay, so we have an example here. We took it from Veria Files where, the pictures of President Duterte, I guess it was taken 2 years ago. And then now there was a similar issue. Then pinost nila ulit yung same article. So according to this one, these two images are, they occurred in different time frames, but it misled because people thought na yung past na news na yun is still
Yes.
happening at the present time. So
Correct.
misleading pa rin siya.
Yes. So, and then we now have number seven, manipulated content. This is when genuine information or imagery is manipulated to deceive. So, the
Mhm.
genuine content is tampered with or doctored in some way.
Right. Okay. So the
Yeah.
sample that we have here is the warning sent by Inquirer.net through their online platform, where Secretary or the presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo was quoted in a negative way. No, so you can see the difference. It's Inquirer.net who posted it, that the red
Mm-hmm.
ones, that's manipulated. Ginawa lang siya parang invento. And then this is the original one. No, so
Okay. Actually, sometimes they do that to make it catchy, 'di ba? So
right.
that's the reason why we have that manipulated. Okay, so after we are done with all these types of information, now let's proceed with our next activity. Now, for this activity, you're going to read each statement carefully, and then you're going to comment a happy face if the statement is correct, and a sad face or a crying face if it is not. So, we have five items for this activity, and let's start with our number one. Okay, Tutor
Okay.
Ernell for number one.
All right. So is it a happy face or a sad face? All pieces of information that we find in different media platforms are true and accurate. Mhm.
Okay, what do you think is the correct answer for this? Again, type in number one and then your answer. We now have an answer here from Sudairy, a crying face with Mika, with Danette, excuse me, with Francesca also, all crying faces. What is the correct answer for number one?
That's
Very
correct.
good. That's
Mhm.
correct. Okay, so again, don't forget that not everything you read or not every may be true and accurate.
Mhm.
So let's have number two. Accuracy is the quality or state of being correct or precise. What is your answer for number two? Is it a happy face or a sad face or a crying face? What is number two? So let's now have the answer from Micah with a happy face. And then we also have another answer for number two, posted by Lorraine Hibe, happy face. Shindy also, happy face. So what's the correct answer for number two?
Okay, it's a happy face.
So very good. Let's now proceed with number three, Tutor Arnell.
All right, now for number three. Okay, you must decide which sections of a text merit the most attention in order to assess the value of ideas. So, is that a
Okay.
happy face or sad face?
Yes. Do we need to assess the section or do we need to decide which
Mhm.
section of a text merit the most attention? Okay. What do you think should be the answer for number three? According to John Lawrence Bacot, it's a smiley face. And then we also have another answer here from Aliana Shane Ocampo with a happy face. What is the correct answer for number three?
All right, let's check it out. Okay, it's a happy face. Yes, we have to decide, no? We have to assess the value of ideas.
Very good. So now let's have number four. For number four, distinguishing important and unimportant information to identify key ideas or themes is essential in determining the worth of ideas from viewed material. Is this important or is this correct? Is it a happy face or a sad face for number four? What is the correct answer for number four? Okay, so do we now have some comments here? So the net is a happy face. And then we also have Regina and Cruz with happy face also, and Janet Flood Patayan with happy face. What's the answer for number four? Happy face. Very good. Good
Mm-hmm.
job. Let's now have our last item, Tutor Arnell.
Okay, the fifth one is important information refers to main ideas or key details you need to better understand the viewed material. So, important information refers to main ideas or key details you need to better understand the viewed material.
Okay, what do you think is the answer for number five? We now have our answer here from the net with a happy face, Aliana with a happy face also, and Shimari with a happy face. What's the correct answer for number five?
Okay, let's see the answer for number five. Oh, it's a happy face, no?
Very good. Good job, people. Now let's proceed with our scores. Let's try to find out what is your score for testing one's knowledge. Since we have happy faces and sad faces, can you give me one happy face for every correct answer? So that means that you'll be giving me five happy faces if you got a perfect score for testing one's knowledge. Now let us see how many happy faces do you have for our activity? Danette got five.
Wow.
Yes, congratulations, Danette. And then Shodari got a four. Same with Mika. And then Jane got a five. And Aliana with a four. Regine with a five. Trisha with a five. Congratulations for all those happy faces, for all those correct answers. Good job.
Okay.
Okay, so let's now proceed with our next activity, Tutor Arnell.
All right, so dear tuties, here is our activity. So analyze the items and determine which graphs and charts is misleading and which graphs and charts has accurate information. So tutor Jace and I will show you graphs and charts, and your task is to check which has the accurate information and which has not. Okay, so let's begin with the first set. So it's a graph of efficiency of submission of reports of employees. And here's the
Okay.
question. Which of these graphs show a misleading representation of data and why? So is it graph A or graph B?
Okay.
Yan.
Now, this is about efficiency of submission of reports of employees. So, your answer for this number will be what graph? Is it graph A or graph B? And then don't forget to write your reason why you
Mhm,
think this is a misleading or why your choice it shows a misleading representation of data. Don't
mhm,
forget that. Now, this is about assessing, okay, or determining the truthfulness and accuracy of the data that you are given with. Okay, again, this is about efficiency of submission of reports of employees. So there you have the dates. Graph A started with January and ended with December. And then we have for Graph B, we started with January and ended with April. What do you think is the answer for our number one? Which graph show a misleading representation of data? What do you think is the answer? So while we're waiting for their answers, let me just greet Ramiel Zane Reyes, Daniela Adelaide Dizon, John Lawrence Bacod also. And we also have some viewers here from Abalorio John Vic from 10 Adonis.
mhm,
And we also have, wait, Nika Rizela Cristobal from 7 Justice, LFG Diamantina National High School, Diamantina Cabanatuan, Isabela. And then we also have Jude Dagamina from 7 Loyalty with teacher Mrs. Emma Den.
mhm,
And do we now have? Oh, the net got an answer here already. So for me, according to the net, it's graph B, which is misleading since it doesn't include efficient information needed to prove that the submission of reports of employees are accurate. From
mhm.
according to Hannah, also graph B because it lacks information. Okay, what do you think, Tutor Arnell? Did they got it correctly?
I think they got it correctly, no? So graph B is actually misleading because just like what Danette mentioned, it did not give us the entire report of what really is their efficiency about. So parang half lang, no, right?
Yes. Oh, actually, it's only 4 months.
Right.
Okay,
So
next. That's very
you may think that it's going up pero pababa pala.
oh, actually, when you look at it, it's going up. So you will think, ah, it's a good sign because it's going up.
Yes.
But actually, that's only 4 months. So it's just the
Mhm.
beginning Okay, so you have to look into some more months for it to be really, really for you to be really efficient.
That's
Okay, very
right.
good. That's about accuracy, and that's about critical thinking also, and analytic thinking. That's very good. So next, let's have the second one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the next one is also a graph, a bar graph, which shows the annual report increase. Yeah, and so we have graph A and graph B. So which of the two graphs has a misleading representation of data and why? Mhm.
Okay, so we have enrollment 2019. For graph A, that would be enrollment 2019 with 30% and enrollment 2020 with 36%.
Mhm.
Okay, and then that's the same thing also with graph B. What do you think is misleading, or which graph is showing a misleading representation of the data? Don't forget to type in your number, the number that you are answering. So just choose whether it's graph A or graph B. Actually, we still have some answers here for number one. So
Mhm.
according to Daniela, if we compare both of them, that's actually number one. Graph B has incomplete information, so it's misrepresenting. Okay. And now, according to Stephanie, also, the data is insufficient and incomplete for our first number. And according to Aliana Shane, for number two, it's graph B. So you have to
Mhm.
write also the reason, anak, no? Why do you think
Mhm.
is why did you choose that graph? Okay, so Rasville also mentioned about graph B. So
Mhm.
please type in your reason why you consider it misleading.
Yes. So I think they have to emphasize as well the increase kasi. So
Oo.
which do you think of these two graphs is misleading about the increase
Yes.
report? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Mhm. So, do we now have an answer here? So, if your answer is graph A or graph B, just don't forget to write your reason why you consider it as misleading. So, we now have
Mhm.
something here from Francesca. I think it's graph A because the difference between 30% and 36% might be too big in contrast to graph
Mhm.
B.
That's
Mhm.
right.
So, according to Lorraine, graph A, because if we're going to look at its scale, the gap of years are not believable. Okay.
Mhm.
And then, according to Janet, graph A shows a large graphical increase, although it's only 6%, which is kind of misleading. So, what is the correct answer, Tutor Arnell, for
All right.
this task?
Yes, okay. So your observations are correct. It's graph A. So talking about the increase, tama yun, no? It's only 6%, but graph A seemed to magnify it as if sobrang laki talaga, right? It's just based on, the numbers they included in the graph. So graph A is the correct answer.
Okay, thank you very much for participating, kasi mabigat na yon, analytic thinking na yon. But
Right.
you did good, very very good. Now for summarizing the lesson, now I just would like to wrap this a little faster. So first it's about viewing. So we discussed viewing, and like what we have mentioned, it's an active process of attending and comprehending visual media. And then we also discussed the next slide, Tutor Anel,
Mm-hmm.
about truth and accuracy. So just remember that truth is the quality of being honest, and accuracy is the fact of being exact or correct. And you also have to remember the different types of information disorder. That would be satire and parody, misleading content, imposter content, fabricated content, false connection, false content, and manipulated content. And as for our week 4 objectives, we will be checking all the objectives that we have had,
Yes.
or we have set for our activities for today, because we have really achieved all these objectives. And for
Yes.
our assignment, Tutor Anel,
And our homework is you have to find a sample material which you think, okay, sorry about that, which you think has an information disorder. So explain why the material may cause misinformation to the readers or viewers. So have a screenshot of that.
Okay, and of course, you're going to submit that to our Facebook pages. And for our exit assessment, don't forget to scan the QR code or copy the link below and answer the Google form for the exit assessment. And also for evaluation or feedback, please do the same thing. Scan the QR code, copy the link, and evaluate the session honestly. Please read carefully. And again, these are your tutors for English 7. I am tutor Drace.
And I'm Tutor Ernell.
And we're both from SDO Pasig, and we will always be your guide for English 7. This is every Tuesday from 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. together with the whole team of the English Junior High School ETUlay tutors, headed by our program head, Tutor May Sevilla. And of course, up next, you will be seeing Tutor Rubilin and Tutor Jovet for English 8 for another remarkable lesson for grade 8. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope that you enjoyed our session for this afternoon. And
Yes.
also, Tutor Arnel, thank you for being with me this afternoon. And I
Thank
miss
you.
you all, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Ang husay naman! Natapos mo ang iyong tutorial session kasama ang iyong mahusay na ETUlay tutor. May bago ka bang natutuhan? I-share na yan gamit ang hashtag #ETUlayLevelUp. Huwag aalis ha, dahil may susunod pang programa na pwede mo ring panoorin at salihan. Dahil naghihintay na ang iyong mga tutors. Happy learning dito sa ETUlay!